I'm Just Saying is sponsored by Hover.com. Go to gfu.hover.com and get 10% off your entire purchase. FreshBooks. FreshBooks is an easy-to-use online invoicing service that saves you time, gets you paid faster, and makes you look professional. Get started completely for free at freshbooks.com. And by Audible.com. Get a free audiobook by going to audiblepodcast.com/GFQ. Hey everybody, welcome to I'm Just Saying week 70.
That's right, 70.
We are seniors.
We are now in our 70s.
Yeah. I'm Andrew Zarian, joined by Lon Blaze.
I am.
Very glowing Lon Blaze. Are you expecting?
I am.
Look what you specialize. Lon was away on vacation last week.
We both were away.
Joe too.
Joanne continues to be away, in a sense.
She hasn't come back.
Yeah, well, she's here, but she's not back.
How was it with Barbara?
Barbara was fabulous.
Oh, I got to hear the stories from her.
What we didn't realize is that Barbara is a little hard of hearing.
What?
She's a little hard of hearing, which is probably why she talks as loud as she does, because she can hear her own voice.
You're the best thing she ever said to me. In your past life, you were an artistic ninja. I could have swore to you she said autistic ninja. Would explain a lot. Would explain a lot more than an artistic ninja. Apparently, I was a ninja that did art.
You really are obsessed by this.
Autistic ninja. Yeah, so
I was in the valley of artistic ninjas. Autistic ninjas.
Autistic ninjas.
Yeah, I was in LA.
What would an autistic ninja do? Just count everything he throws?
Stars have 6 points. Six point
points.
stars.
Definitely
Stars.
6
Definitely 6 points.
So how was your trip?
My trip was interesting. I think people live on the West Coast because they want to live on the West Coast, and people live on the East Coast because they're just smarter.
That good, huh?
No. They're really nice people. It's just I'm not meant to be there. There is not the sarcasm mode is not set high enough on the West Coast. You say something snide and people go, "Really?" And you're like,
where were you though? Where?
I did LA and San Francisco.
Okay, so
and
you
I
went
stopped
north.
in the lovely kingdom of Modesto to get my new iPhone.
Oh, how was Modesto?
Oh, it's everything Modesto. It's modest. Oh, it's just it's like it's a town that exists between Los Angeles and San Francisco.
Yeah,
that's its purpose.
That's it. Why was it so bad?
No, it was a mall. I went to a mall. I went to an Apple store where the lovely steward gave me a phone that didn't work. Thank God I stayed in Modesto that night because I was just so damn tired.
Doesn't have a really high crime rate?
Modesto?
Yeah.
Really?
Modesto ranks number 1 in car thefts.
Really?
Yeah.
The good thing I had the rental.
Yeah.
Modesto
is also home for many street gangs. It has about 10,000 gang members in Modesto.
I was wondering why the Crips and Bloods Cafe was so crowded.
One
weird.
side is all in red and one side is all in blue. It's great.
Yeah.
So they gave you a phone that did not work.
Well, it worked. It just worked too well. I'm driving from L.A. to San Francisco.
Are you confident driving outside of New York? Like I'm not.
Oh yeah.
I'm not confident. Like
I can drive through a tornado. I love to drive. You know me. I've driven across the country like 6 times.
If I'm not on the LIE, I panic.
I panic on the LIE now because nothing looks like. You know what? There's kind of an automatic pilot to riding the LIE after as many years.
Yeah, but they added those damn HOV lanes.
The HOV lanes and the sound barricades.
Yeah.
Now everything looks alike. So I'm driving along, and at a certain point I go, wait a minute. Which exit am I at? And I'm like, I get into this weird panic because I no longer know where I am.
You know where I do that? And it's scary. I do that in the southern state all the time. All the time. I'm on the southern state, and I'll just pass my exit. It's Massapequa. My doctor's in Massapequa, and I pass it, and I go, you know what? If I lived in Massapequa, I would pass it too. Nobody wants to go to Massapequa. Nobody. I'm sorry.
There are many famous people from Massapequa.
I'm sorry, Lohans. Joey Buttafuoco. Amy Fisher, Massapequa.
All the Baldwins.
All the Baldwins.
Yep.
Yeah.
You would think the Baldwins could come from Baldwin. And, there's no famous Massapequa family from Baldwin.
Yeah.
That's really weird. I just think it's wrong.
So you were out L.A., San Francisco. Your phone broke.
Yes. On the way to San Francisco, my iPhone just started freezing. Just it would stop. It would go, "You want GPS?" No. it would just like freeze up, and then 5 minutes later it would go, "Remember that thing you wanted 5 minutes ago? Here it is, in the middle of whatever you were doing."
Yeah.
It would constantly return back to the menu. It would try for a minute and then go, "Yeah, no, I'm just going to go back to the main menu." It did it all the time. So I took it into the Apple store in Modesto, and I went in and they switched me out real fast. It was beautiful, and I got back to the hotel. And the iPhone that they give me is hypersensitive. I don't even have to touch the keyboard.
It
and
just
it's
does
registering.
everything.
It's registering letters, and switching me to other things. And I'm like, I'm not even touching it. I'm like, so I took it back in the morning.
I saw the message.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna lie, a little bit of me thought, "Wow, Lon, he's so out of touch. He doesn't even know. He has no idea." And I'm like, "Wipe the dirt off of your screen, Lon."
Yeah.
Like a sarcastic child says to their older parent.
Yeah.
Like, you're holding the phone upside down.
The VCR is flashing 12. Why is it doing that? Why is it to keep doing that? It's not 12. Yeah.
So what happened to it?
It was a bad phone.
Yeah. So they gave you.
But I'm so glad, because I was going to grab the phone and just keep going, but I had driven all day and was really frustrated. So I just ate a meal in Modesto. And oddly enough, not one of the greatest meals I've ever had.
What do you
Not
eat?
bad.
What did you have?
Me? You know me. I ate something vegetable-y. And
Was it like a restaurant, or did you go to like an Olive Garden chain?
no, I don't. Yeah, I can't.
Yeah.
I just can't. No, a lot of what I did was a bag of nuts and a bottle of water the whole time, and then I'd stop at a supermarket and buy a bag of vegetables and eat them. That's because I don't look like I gained weight, did I?
No.
No, I didn't. I lost a pound.
Yeah.
I lost a pound, and I wasn't at boot camp all week, which is making me feel guilty too. But I'll be back to boot camp soon.
You know what movie took place in Modesto? Classic movie. American Graffiti.
Was that Modesto?
Yeah, Modesto.
That's where the boys are from. That's where Lucas is from.
Yeah, he's from Modesto.
And there's a gang in that movie. That's so funny.
Yeah,
Have you ever seen it?
Yeah,
they make
it's a great movie.
They make Richard Dreyfuss put the cable under the police car and they rip out the back wheels.
It's a great movie.
Oh, those were good times.
Yeah, you could get away with stuff like that.
Yeah. But northern and southern California,
So different.
Different vibe.
Yeah.
Very, very different vibe. Here's my favorite joke ever about Los Angeles. Los Angeles, I apologize. This isn't about Los Angeles. It's more about the industry, because I was there for industry purposes when I went out there. Okay. You have to watch me. How do you say "fuck you" in Los Angeles?
How do you say "fuck you" in Los Angeles?
Trust me.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like everyone is so nice. It's a little creepy.
And maybe because it's different. I'm in a different industry, but the people I deal with, from LA, have been nothing but great to me.
Good.
Steakam is in LA, and they've been excellent. I mean, unbelievable.
Okay,
to me.
I want to meet them.
But
I should have gone there then.
You should. You know what? You should have gone. They're downtown LA, but the difference
I may have
is
to go back. So
it's a new industry, and I feel that a lot of people that do what we do feel that old media fucks them. So they're different, but I actually have a difficulty dealing with a lot of Northern California companies because I feel that they're way too slow. They're way too slow.
Oh, there's a
slow.
mellow. Everyone talks about like California being mellow. The mellow is in the north,
Yeah.
like San Francisco. Mellow.
Well, southern too. If you go a little too south.
Yeah, but now they're all Orange County and stuff, and it gets a little extreme. Once you get outside the city, it starts to melt into other things. I went to, I had dinner with people I haven't seen in a long time. I have dinner with people I've talked to online and never met.
Wow.
And had dinner with them.
That's great.
Yeah, and that was kind of cool. And it was like, the best was everyone said, "Wow, they hadn't seen me in a while. You look great." So I was like,
that's great.
That was fabulous.
You should have gone to visit Spencer.
Yeah, I got to plan this better next time. I just kind of pulled this out of my ass and went. Did really fast. What else did I do that was interesting besides travel to Modesto?
How'd you like Northern California? How'd you like it?
I like Northern California. Remember I do the AIDS ride?
Yeah.
Every year.
You go there.
And I go to
San Francisco.
San Francisco. I went to a cool place called the Treehouse.
Mm-hmm.
This is some person's house, and they just have parties there. And I was there, and I was such an odd man out because I was the New Yorker in a house full of like San Franciscans, So it was like way too intense for them. but amusing to them.
Where
nonetheless.
would I fit in California?
You're
South Central.
you are so New York high intensity
Yeah.
wired like a poodle kind of thing.
Yeah.
That I don't know where you'd pop in there. They would just everyone would just want to try and mellow you.
I was screaming today. I was on the phone, and there are moments that I become like, I get in my groove and I start becoming arrogant New York businessman.
No,
I'm really
Yeah,
congested right
I-
now. So somebody just messaged me, said I sound really nasally. Yeah, my allergies kicked in all of a sudden.
Yeah, that's why Joanna's not here.
Yeah, it got
because-
really bad. Like after we finish the show, I just feel like everything.
It's time for the neti pot.
You know, in New York business, like everybody's such an asshole to each other, and you
Yeah.
expect that. You
Right.
expect you sit down. If I'm sitting down with Lon, I expect you to screw me in every possible way.
And
And if
he-
you're doing something nice, no, you're not going to do something nice. I'm going to do something nice. For
I'll
you.
do something nice first.
Yeah.
And whatever it is, I'll do it better.
No. I will do it plus twice. And then there's a great Larry David sketch.
Do you have a
by the
mother?
way.
I'm going to be nice to her too.
Do you watch Curb Your Enthusiasm?
No,
There's a great episode with Rosie O'Donnell and Larry David, and Rosie picks up the check for Larry David, and Larry's like, no. I says, I'm gonna pick it. He goes, no, I'm gonna pick it up. Larry goes, no, I paid for it, and they start getting into a fight. So they meet at this art gallery, and he goes, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna take your family out. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna fly your entire family in. I'm gonna put them in a 5-star hotel, and I'm gonna pay for their fucking dinner.
Yeah.
That's how we
Yeah.
see things.
Oh, absolutely.
You can't do anything nice. So sometimes I get in that vibe of getting like a little bit arrogant. I turned to the guy and I asked him, how many times, and this is like, I know this guy. I said, I know you and your girlfriend started dating last couple months ago. How long until you fucked her? Because you're fucking me from the beginning. Just is that what you're used to?
This is the episode where we curse a lot. Isn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah.
One of my
I've
favorite
lost
lines, and I've always used it in
it.
business.
Suncast is bleeping them all, by the way.
Okay.
He's gonna bleep them.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he could.
Oh, he should bleep. He
Yeah,
should bleep
it'll
stuff
be
that
funny.
isn't even cursing.
Yeah.
Like when I say, tangerine. He should just,
I sucked on a tangerine.
and move my mouth and just hide behind the mic as I
Yeah.
say it, so I could be saying, anything. Is it 8 Million Ways to Die? At one point, someone's selling someone a bill of goods, as they say,
Yeah.
and the other guy's just doing the smile and nod. And he goes, and at one point he just goes, "You better kiss me." It's two guys.
Yeah.
He goes, "What?" He goes, "Yeah, you better kiss me." He goes, what the hell are you talking about? He goes, "Yeah, before I let anyone fuck me up the ass, they got to kiss me first." It's one of my favorite lines ever.
I just, it's a way you do business, but I think LA's a lot.
Okay, this is not the show I'm sent home to my mother, is it?
No,
Okay,
no.
Fine.
But I think in LA it's a different way of doing business. I mean, I actually love dealing with Canadian companies. Super nice, and get the whole East Coast thing to get the vibe, and I really like it.
I have a really amazingly good Canadian friend. I know that.
See?
Yeah, and really, really sweet. Really sweet person.
Well, all our advertisers are Canadian, so I better be nice to them. But I don't know. It's interesting how depending on where you are, what type of business you conduct.
I met people who told me my city sucked and people who told me my city was great.
Like New York.
Yeah. And
I think
but everyone was being particularly nice to me this week because of 9/11. Like,
yeah, that's it. So how was it being? Were you out there? No, you were back.
No,
by
I came back, and what's really weird, I got home. I had a flight for 6:30 Sunday morning out of LA.
Yeah.
And I was done with everything that I had to do, and I was going to have a whole extra day car rental if I turned the car in after midnight.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, can I sit in an airport for 5 hours? Are there bars open? I was trying to figure out whether I could. So I turned the car in at 7:00, and I said there were like restaurants around. I was going to take a cab to someplace, and just hang out and until I couldn't stay anymore, and then just go over to the airport.
Yeah.
I drove in to find out LAX was like the military was out.
Yeah, well,
they
LAX
they put mirrors under my car and
Really?
oh yeah, the whole bit. But I turned the car in and I went into the airport and I said, "Any chance I can get a flight out earlier?" And they put me on a 9:30 flight. So I was back in New York City on the ground at 6 a.m.
on Monday.
Yep. And I got back to my house in time to watch everything happen.
Yeah, it was a bizarre feeling yesterday. I mean, it was just weird. It was this weird feeling of the feeling that I had was I can't believe it's been 10 years.
Yeah.
That's
what's
first
weird
feeling.
is because it was so long ago, and I almost felt guilty for it,
Mhm.
that it made me feel everything that was going on like twice as badly and twice as. Yeah, the way I put it was that the 10th anniversary had me of two minds. One was quiet reflection on life and love, and never forgetting to say I love you when you walked out the door, because everyone said that when it was like, you always have to say I love you to the person you're going to. And then the other one was like of celebration of the same two things, of life and love, and saying I love you when you walk through the door. It was like joy, in the strangest way, for having survived it, for watching my city survive it, and being really proud to be a New Yorker.
Absolutely, yeah.
And
that's the first feeling that the first thing I remember was, wow, I'm proud to be from New York. And
back then or now?
Back then. Now it was just sadness because 10 years have gone by, but you're thinking about all those people that were dead, and you're thinking about where you were. Darren from the 7 line.
They put their age, and I got to
Yeah.
tell you, the thing that really resonated with me was every person that was 43 years old when they died,
Yeah.
because that was me.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Now that they're your age.
Turn another corner.
Yeah.
They would be me.
Darren from the 7 line put a very interesting video up on his page on Facebook. Actually, if you go to the 7 line on Facebook, you can find it. He put a video up that he took 10 years ago from Douglaston. The intersection, that light with the camera?
Yeah.
By
Northern and Douglaston Parkway.
Yeah. By like Giardino's was?
Yeah.
Okay, so right over there, you could see
it from the top of Van Zandt Marathon near the school.
So
that's everyone kept walking.
It's a perfect view because it's so elevated, and I went to school in Douglaston, so it's elevated. I remember pulling over my car there after I left because I knew that was the highest point that I could go to and be close.
Mm-hmm.
I remember when it happened, and I'm thinking back, I remember Darren recording this. I didn't know Darren at the time, but I remember a kid at the time, because Darren was in his 20s, recording it on a camera. I remember just pulling over by the CVS and just looking at the buildings burn.
Yeah.
And it was such an eerie feeling because, I could reflect in my head all I want about where I was and what I saw, and you always think, well, maybe it changed over the last couple of years, your perception of what happened. But this was exactly the point that I saw it at. And that's a very rare thing to ever see. And to me, it was weird because I actually, in my head, I went back to that actual spot.
Yeah.
And it was just such an eerie feeling to see that video and to see the exact spot you were standing in when it happened and what you were witnessing on tape. I mean, that was just such a bizarre feeling for me.
Yeah.
And
will you go to the memorial?
No, I don't think I can.
I was going to say, if you wanted to, I'll go with you.
You know what it is, and we did a 9/11 show on Friday, and you did the first year with us.
Yeah.
And I really feel that I'm deeply affected by this.
Oh, I know.
I mean,
that's why I offered to take.
I have serious post-traumatic stress from this. I think about it every day. I mean, it's always been like that for me for 10 years.
I have a couple of friends. I have a friend that lived on Hudson Street in the Village, and he's not the same. Hasn't ever been the same.
I remember when they did the first year with the lights.
Yeah.
The two lights. I was driving over the bridge with my father. We were doing a delivery at the time. He was in the car business, so we were doing deliveries, and we were coming back from Pennsylvania, and I saw the lights, and something went off in my head, and I just. Since then, even I don't think I could ever, and I always say to myself, I can't ever go back there. Even when they put the new buildings up, I don't think I'll ever be able to go there.
I drove by it. I saw this.
And what's the feeling like?
There is a bit of pride. There's a bit of, fuck you.
Yeah.
To it, and yeah, I'm a person that believes I got married in a church, not because I'm religious, but because I didn't want to get married someplace where there was a a casino party or a sock hop the night before.
Yeah.
I believe in sacred space. I believe there should be a space put aside that is only for what it's for. Do you know what I mean?
Sure.
That's why I wanted to get married in a church. I could have gotten married in a temple. I could have gotten married in a mosque, but it didn't matter. It just that I wanted in a place where, people gather for said purposes. That place now has that feel. That place has sacred space feel to it.
Yeah, but the fact that it took them so long to do it and it's still not up, like that goes into my mind saying, all bullshit aside and everything that happened, you wouldn't want to build this thing. It took the Twin Towers. Mm-hmm. It took it about 4 years to build. Mm-hmm. From 72 to 70. When did it open? 74?
Yeah, something like that.
I think they started 71. They opened 74, and I think they built the last one. Like the last building was done in like the 80s. But it took them a couple of years to put this 2 beautiful buildings up.
Yeah.
It's taken us 10 years.
See, you saw them as beautiful buildings. I didn't think they were beautiful buildings. I thought they were impressive.
What was there before?
I don't know. Not much.
Not much, right?
Yeah, I have a friend that this is going to sound awful, but that made the joke prior to the buildings falling that the World Trade Centers look like the boxes that the other buildings came in.
Yeah.
They were not interesting. They were impressive in their degree.
Well, it was, what it was? It was mine is bigger than yours. That's exactly what they were. We were showing that we could build this huge building.
Yeah.
But now we've kind of realized, well, that might not be the way. Maybe we shouldn't build something that big.
I wonder if there's any fear in the other tall buildings in the world, like the one in Malaysia and the one in Dubai and all that. Do they fear?
I was going to say something really awful, and I took it back.
Yeah, good for you.
Yeah. Yes, last night.
You're growing up.
Yeah, I am,
son.
because you know what I did actually, and I've never done this with anything I've said on the shows. I've never pulled anything that I've ever said.
You did?
I pulled it yesterday.
Yeah.
I called into Spencer's show, and we were talking about. I guess I'll have to pull this one too, but we were talking about.
You don't go there.
No. I'll tiptoe around it. We were talking about, the profiling that goes on, and I said something that I shouldn't have. Mm-hmm. Like I said something really harsh and very like I'm an American and like rah, like one of those.
Yeah.
And I woke up this morning. I said, you know what? I shouldn't have said that. And I pulled it, and I've never done that before. That's the first time in 3 years that I pulled or regretted anything that I've said.
I think one of the reasons that I feel that I can and even should go to the memorial is that I could do it sort of silently and as a tribute. It takes more effort for me to go there than it does to watch a tribute on TV. Okay? And at the same time, as I was watching on TV, I started to feel bizarrely voyeuristic, which
watching what, the memorial?
Yeah,
or
watching the memorial,
okay.
Because to have people sit there and cry over their loved ones when
it's very intrusive.
Oddly, I don't know. I don't know if I've ever asked you this question. I knew no one that passed.
No, me either.
Yeah.
No one.
Yeah, which
like I knew somebody that knew somebody. You know what I mean?
But
like somebody.
Knew no one directly.
No one directly.
No, neither did I. So I felt like I had crashed someone's funeral.
Yeah.
As I was watching it, and it just started to feel bizarre to me. I actually went and watched, documentaries about what happened rather than watch the ceremony because it began to feel too personal. It's like when the person beside you in the subway.
But I mean, they've done the ceremony for 10 years.
Yeah,
have you
and
always felt like this?
Yeah. I mean, I watch it to a certain degree. I even go back to it so that I go, could I just not take it? And it just, for 10 years, I've had the same feeling. I never don't go. I never don't watch it. I always start, but I can't continue. I just can't.
I watched
and
George
then I feel
Bush's.
Like that I must be a chicken. Because
did you see George Bush's thing on Discovery? I think it was on the History Channel, the retrospective of 9/11.
Yeah.
Say what you want about this guy.
Yep, I was just going to say the same thing.
There was so much agony in him, and you could see it in his eyes when he's going back and he's reflecting back.
I think it's why he's been.
I don't think anybody, after watching that, and I do not, and I say what you want. He's an animal. He's this, and he made a war. He was so open and honest, and you could feel. I felt what he was feeling, and it was the first time that I actually saw him as, man, this is not what he wanted.
Yeah.
And he says like about going. He goes, I didn't want to go to war, and they were talking about why he waited a little bit. He goes, I didn't want to go to war. I didn't want to be a wartime president. That's not what I wanted. And you could tell, like, when he's talking about it, like, he looks away, and you could see, like, he's going back in his head.
Yeah.
It was just, what did you pick up from it? Because, like, I picked up, like, this man is just so haunted by this.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he gets known as the one that got us through 9/11. But he's also known as the guy who
went to two wars.
Yeah. It's just, and I don't, it's not what he wanted. You know, I got to tell you, I've always thought the guy didn't even really want to be president. You know,
yeah.
I think Jeb was supposed to.
Did you see W?
No.
Great movie. Great movie.
I was actually angry yesterday too, because everyone was showing their best side, and it was like, it started to anger me about what's going on politically in this country. Because yesterday they could all agree, you know, and it's like, this is what it takes. This is what it takes. An event of this magnitude. This is what it takes for people not to turn it into an agenda.
No, I have to disagree with you. I think this even fuels an agenda for many people. Everything is an agenda. Now, politics has become such a dirty, dirty thing where I'm looking at the Republican candidates, and I'm a registered Republican. I've always voted Republican. I won't disclose what I voted the last election, just to add that little mystique. Mm-hmm. But I've always voted Republican, especially locally. I always vote Republican. And I'm looking at the candidates, and I'm thinking, boy, just all of you just have it all wrong. Like, all of you have it wrong.
Everyone's just basing it all on anger, and it's not about you winning. It's about, I think I've said it before. Now, every race is not just about me winning if I'm running. It's about me winning and burying you.
Yeah. And that's why we're in the situation we're in right now.
Right, because
the left and the right, they're both responsible for this.
Because extreme sells. I'm going to say it again and again. The extreme sells.
Nobody wants a moderate, in office.
And it's like, and it's all like, it's like being in high school. It's like we're in high school again. You know, politics is like high school with power. You know, it's just nuts. Because I've even heard people talk, like the guy that does Meet the Press. He said, Republicans, Democrats won't even sit in the same room anymore because an off comment can be spun into something.
See, this is where it gets tricky, right? And I'm going to explain as simple as I can. We don't use Democrat and Republican anymore. We use conservative and liberal, which does not mean Democrat or Republican. Right. There were many conservative Democrats, and there were liberal Republicans. Yeah. Or you look at someone like what Rudy was in New York. He was a liberal Republican compared to what a conservative is now.
And Strom Thurmond was not Strom Thurmond.
I mean, you look at the Kennedys. What would you consider the Kennedys at the time? You look at a lot of Democrats; they were conservatives. So we've taken a different spin on this.
I come from New England, and people say, I always say that I'm a New England conservative. I mean, excuse me, a New England Democrat, because New England Democrats
conservative.
Were issue liberal, personally conservative.
Yeah, see, this is where it gets tricky.
Yeah.
I don't.
Well, it's because we want to live in black and white. We want to live in the extreme. If one party's over here, the other party has to be here. And it isn't like this, that everyone has, the exact same views. There's no longer a platform. There's a plank. Yeah. Everyone stands on one plank. No one stands on a platform anymore because platform has more surface area. It just doesn't work that way, and it's just everyone. I Facebooked earlier today. I said, "What would you like to talk about?" To get a little feel of what's going on and everything. And someone basically said, the extremes are making it crazy. That now, if there's a traffic jam, it gets blamed on either Bush or Obama.
Yeah, it's that bad. Well, what I love is how all of them are Hitler. Right. Bush was Hitler and Obama's Hitler, and are we forgetting that neither of them have killed 10 million Jews?
Yeah, well, we've latched onto this, but we have this whole mentality now that whatever it is, it has to be the biggest, the best, the most extreme, the greatest ever. You know, it's like we're living in high school. I mean, do you remember when every party was going to be the greatest party ever had?
That's every day now. And everything that's on TV or anything is like that.
Yeah, your laundry detergent, it gets
the
your
best
white
one.
Yeah,
the white's the whitest and the black's the blackest
and the bright's the bright. Yeah, and it's just there's no subtlety anymore. It's like we're living like inside this neon.
Well, don't you think that's the reason why so many people are in debt? Everybody needs to have the Mercedes. Everybody needs to have the plasma TV. Everybody needs to have the state-of-the-art kitchen. People didn't live like that 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Nobody
Absolutely.
lived like that 20 years ago, 30 years ago.
I just realized something. Someone that is the camera on me?
Yeah.
Take the camera off of me for a minute.
Okay.
And the other person related to that person that we know. They'll pick up my new phone. Isn't it great? What are your options for your answer there?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, it's great. It's great. Then that person walks away and goes, Lon said that my phone was the best. It's like they build in their own superlative life. You know what I mean?
I think many people are like that, though.
Yeah, no. I think it's endemic to the society.
Yeah.
I think this...
We need to be like that because everybody's like that. So then you follow.
You know what's
You're keeping
I
up
love?
with the Joneses constantly.
Right. And you've known Joanna and I for long enough now that like kids used to say to me, Mr. Blaze, you don't have kids? And I went, nope. Why? Don't want any.
What do you mean?
What do you mean? I said, yeah, I don't want kids. And then parents would come in on parent-teacher night and go, so you don't want any children? Like they would go and tell their parents, and they just could not wrap their head around it. And then of course, I taught 13 or 14-year-old boys. They would say, what kind of car do you drive? And I would drive this ancient old can, and they were like, well, don't you want a better car? And I said, better car would cost me more, and it cost me more to insure. And then, if you have this, then you got to have that. And I went, it's not worth it to me. They're like, but it's like a cool car. You could have like a cool car. And I said, and now I have a cool car. How has it made my life better? It's cool. And they don't, and they can't take it any further.
Mm-hmm.
Everything has to be like the niftiest, shiniest, bestest ever. And I just don't buy it. Look, you're my friend, and you're not the greatest friend.
I'm an awful friend.
Yeah, there you
go. But I know I'm an awful friend, and I accept that I'm an awful friend, and I'm content with the fact that I'm an awful friend.
Absolutely.
I cannot be the best friend to that everybody wants.
Yeah, I think you need friends in pockets. I mean, no, really, you have like 2 or 3 times I've gone, Andrew, I need something, and you do it.
Yeah.
And it seems to me that the times that I've tried to call you and you couldn't do it, I got someone else to do it. But every time I've really needed you,
yeah, I'll show up.
Yeah, absolutely.
Takes me 15 times to get in touch with me, but I'll show up.
Oh yeah.
It's it's an interesting thing, and you brought up we live above our means. Everybody's doing that now. Even if you have money, you're buying things that you normally would not buy. Because it's an impulse buy. Everything is in your face. Everything is the best. Everything is the best thing you'll ever do.
And it'll make your life better.
Yeah.
They constantly... But see that we can take that right back to the political thing. That's what they're selling you. If you don't do this, your life is not going to be as good. This stuff that you have isn't going to be as secure. You're not going to be able to buy this stuff if you it's just nuts.
Well, it also and that's the reason
there's
why
very little that's necessary in this world.
Yeah. You don't need a plasma.
This.
Yeah.
Not necessary.
None of this is necessary.
And I totally know that. But you know what? I'm not spending any money doing this.
Yeah.
You are.
I
am not.
Look at this. I'm running. It's like I'm running the command center at NASA.
I do you the favor of not charging you anything for doing it.
Yeah. I'm doing NASA. Look at this.
Yeah.
Look at I've spent this is a $30,000 room.
Do you realize this was... You have more computer power in this room than put the Apollo program.
I know.
Well, what they once said, like everything that was contained in all the computers, like in Command Central, is like in 3 laptops. That's it.
Yeah, that's all.
Yeah.
It's fascinating.
Just amazing. Well, you have friends. I mean, we were talking about this. Do you have any... Do you share... is it the right word? Secrets with friends?
Some.
Okay.
But I share, you know what I do? I'm so fucked up. I share things that I know, like I'll share something that I have no problem with going out, but I'll share it to see if you're loyal enough and if it will get leaked.
Okay, how about this theory? That if you really wanted something to be secret, you would tell no one. So
Yeah.
therefore, if you do tell someone, there's one of two things. Well, you've added a third. You're testing the person, or you want to get caught,
Mm-hmm.
or you secretly want to tell the truth.
Yeah, I always wonder why people, like, I'm the worst person to tell a secret because I'll go around telling everybody.
Thank you for letting me know that,
Yeah.
Andrew.
Yeah. By the way, Lon told me. No, but I like-
told you something that I had covered for a long time, but I was, in essence, I was
yeah,
once,
but like, no, but I'm talking about like I got friends that comes to me and they'll be like, hey, listen, can you tell me a secret? I went out the other night and I hooked up with so and so.
yeah,
Don't tell anybody though. I'll come home and guess what? You know.
You know, if you have a wife, who the hell thinks that you don't tell your wife stuff?
Oh yeah.
And they'll go, don't tell Jess, don't tell Joanna.
tell her.
And I'm like,
Are you kidding me?
yeah.
Yeah.
and
It's fine.
you know, I go, okay, and I look at them like, you know, I'm going right home now and telling them.
I don't know. You know.
And Joey has friends too that you know that same person we were talking about before
Yeah.
told Joanna all kinds of secrets. I knew them all.
Yeah. Yeah. I you know what it is? I hold certain things sacred. Like if it's like a bond thing, like I won't say anything. Like if I feel that our relationship, this is a step in our relationship.
Like when people go, yeah, that girl hooked up with her.
Yeah.
That was great.
Like that's you're telling everybody that.
You're also
Yeah.
bragging.
Yeah.
You're not saying keep this a secret. It's like, I'm going to try and find as many people as I can tell without this going into the general public because I'm really, in essence, kind of proud of it.
Yeah.
Okay. The one thing that I ever told you,
Yeah.
the day you did me that favor,
Yeah.
I asked you not to say anything because it was something that I did.
And never did.
I have a couple of Jean Valjean moments in my life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
exactly.
sure.
I stole the loaf of bread.
Yeah. I've never I don't even. It's so funny. Like I know you told me that, but like it didn't register until you just said it. So I'm really good at keeping secrets. I don't even listen.
Just stupid.
I just don't even listen when people tell me secrets.
You're just doing the smile and nod. Remember that thing I told you? Yeah.
No, I've had people.
Oh damn! Now I remember it.
I've had people like tell me something like big, like something big, and like listen, don't tell anybody until. Do
you have strangers tell you things? I think
all
that's
the
the
time.
Easiest people to tell like a deep dark secret to because you figure you're never going to bump into them like the stranger on a train kind of thing.
Yeah, but I look at them as a crazy person.
Yeah, I've had people confess such stuff to me that they thought I was wearing a collar.
Yeah.
I was like, really? Do you want to? Should I absolve you? Do you want to say some Hail Marys? Something.
I have a friend that
just the one.
I have one friend. No, I have a couple, and I'm trying to think how I could tiptoe around it. This is thinking as I'm telling a story. He did something really bad.
Yeah.
Like not like
illegal bad, morally bad.
He was in a really bad spot. Like he had no other choice.
Mm-hmm.
But like it's a bad thing he did.
Yeah. Illegal bad?
May or may not depends on how much of a good attorney he has.
Wouldn't this be weird if you were thinking this was the thing I told you and I was like, oh man, right, it's you.
Oh yeah, that's you.
Damn.
No. He had no other option,
mm-hmm.
and he had to do this thing.
Yeah.
And he had to do it to kind of survive.
Yeah.
And he did something really bad. It wasn't rape or anything like that.
I don't think one does that to survive.
I don't know why I was thinking like in my mind I'm thinking like he didn't rape anybody, he didn't beat up a woman, like it was something else.
Yeah.
And he told me and another friend, and he's still living with the guilt that he did this thing, and we've never said a word because we understood.
People, just the other day someone confessed to a crime from like 40 years ago. People cannot just sit on something.
Yeah.
They can't.
Well, I think
unless you're a sociopath.
Well, me, I can. I'm very good at that. I was talking to somebody from my life, and we were talking about how it's not normal. You know what it was? It was one of my friends. It was actually John. I was talking to John, and we were talking. We were talking about how I have this sick ability to forget about people and never think about them again. Like an ex-girlfriend. I could break up with someone that I'd been with for years, I'm just giving an example, that I loved, and just be done the following day. Just, it's over. Everything is gone. All those feelings, any memory, I just wipe it out, and it's totally gone, and I'll never think about the person again. And we were talking, he couldn't understand how I'm able to do that. And he kept saying, it's like a sociopath. That's not normal. Normal people do not forget about other people. Normal people do not totally wipe people out from their brains. And I have that ability. I just forget about you, and I never think about you again.
I'm bad the other way.
You hang on.
Yeah, I hang on to friends longer than maybe I should. And I get really brutalized when they, I think friends have a certain shelf life, and it's not the same reciprocally. I don't think, like, just because you think, this friend should be in my life forever, or this person will be in my life while I'm in college. And you almost kind of know some of those people are going to fade away. Yeah. But what's gotten me is that some people that I thought were there for the long run weren't. They didn't do anything bad. I didn't do anything bad to them. You just kind of always thought they were going to be around, and they're not. And it freaks me out because, I cherish my friends. I think I'm that way with my students. I'm out of teaching 7 years.
You're still talking to everybody.
And I still talk to everyone.
I don't know. I wonder why. Do you think it's your upbringing? Do you think what do you think is
I think the reason that I hold on to people is that I'm inherently an orphan, even though I'm from this huge family. Mm-hmm. You know enough about my family. I'm kind of orphaned. It's a bit of my choice, very honestly, and I understand that. But I have always cleaved to the people that have been good to me. So one of the reasons that I always wanted to be a good teacher was that I really counted on good teachers to take care of me.
Yeah.
And that, like in the last year or so, well, actually, very, very literally in the last year, 2 of the people that were the men that ran organizations that, for things that I did when I was a kid, mm-hmm. and therefore my father figures, they passed away this year, and it was really weird.
Yeah, that has to be a strange feeling, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Well, what's weird now, too, is not only losing them, but losing people my age. Last year, some of that, I marched in a drum and bugle corps.
Yeah.
Like a marching band.
Which I still find weird.
Yeah.
A lot of people, you don't meet a lot of people that do that.
No, because it's not a New York thing. Although, some of the 2 or 3 of the best drum corps in the country came out of New York. There's a senior corps, which is people over 21, mm-hmm. called the Skyliners. They're from Manhattan, or they used to be. I think their organization address is no longer Manhattan. But they were amazing. And there was 2 corps from the Bronx that were just kick-ass. They were so good. But the only people that knew them were the people in them and related to them, because the competitions were never here.
Yeah.
I marched in one competition in New York City in 1976, and we sucked. We were so bad.
But were you awesome in your town? Like, were you the best?
Actually, we were the underdogs. I have a recording. We won 2 national championships, the corps that I marched in.
Funny.
Yeah, it's really kind of fun. But the year we won the biggest of those championships, we won like the equivalent of the U.S. Open.
Yeah.
But there's also...
Couldn't you play basketball?
Wimbledon.
Like, couldn't you get into, like, basketball or football?
I play basketball like the doofiest white person ever. Oh, yeah.
Football.
And I love it. I played football.
Did you?
Yeah. Look at me.
Yeah.
Yeah. I played football.
Actually, in this situation, I'm the least likely in this room to be playing football.
Yeah, but, I played football, but I ride a bike. It's who I am. I never end up doing what I'm supposed to. I never do it the right way. I'm not, I'm not Democrat properly. I'm not religious properly. I don't do the right acting things properly. I don't ascribe by some school of acting. My marriage is weird because we don't have kids, and we take separate vacations, and it's just like people look at me like, what the hell is wrong with
you? What are you doing?
And yet people are always like, hey, Lon, he's kind of cool. He's kind of,
Lon is always happy.
Yeah.
When is Lon not happy?
Well, I have my moments.
When
I'm in Modesto.
Yeah, when you're in Modesto, you're very unhappy.
Yeah.
It's interesting, what keeps us going.
Yeah.
Like there are people.
Do people confess to you secrets all the time?
I
I draw them like a magnet.
you know what I am? I think people have their doubts because they know I have a big mouth, and I think since having the show, people have not.
Yeah, that's true. When
The
you
show
have
is-
a when
the
you have
show
a
is-
microphone in front of you, people are going to start to get a little.
Because I say a lot, like I've said a lot of stuff about friends, and they listen, and they'll call me like, "You shouldn't have said that." I'm like, nobody knows it's you. Like you're just being selfish now. Like, and I'll turn it on them. I'm like, you're just being paranoid. Like nobody's thinking of you, you dummy. I'm like, you think Uber in Canada knows anything about you and your
Canadian ways.
Yeah, like nobody knows anything about you. Like enough. So like I'll throw that, and they're like, "Yeah, maybe he's right." But I think since I started the show, a lot of people I burnt a lot of bridges actually from the show. Like a lot of friends have sent me the email like, "F you, how could you say that about me? I know you were talking about me," and I'll say,
I don't think you can. You could be as ginger and careful as you want, and in essence, sometimes the more careful you are, the more likely you are to offend someone.
Yeah. Like I'm like, I said a friend of mine punched a hooker in the face once. Do you know how many friends I have that would possibly do that? And do you know how many friends that have done that? So how do you know I was talking about you? And they'll say, because I'm your only friend. And I'll say, yes, you're right. I'm sorry. Yeah, those are the conversations that happen. I don't know. Sometimes people tell me stuff, but a lot of times they've pulled back. I'm sure with you, people feel very confident to tell you something.
Yes. Oh yeah. I get people confessing to me all the time.
Can you say like, in a roundabout way, what's like the biggest thing somebody's ever said?
Yeah. Someone confessed to me that they had a stretch where they lived a completely illegal life. What they were doing was completely illegal.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And they got their crap together and stopped doing that.
What was your response?
Gee, I wish
Like,
I
how
knew
do
you
you
then. I
respond?
wish I had known you then. No, you would have been a lot more fun. No, no, I was proud of the person for pulling themselves up by their bootstraps and moving on. I rode in the bike ride with someone who was, a meth addict.
Current or recovering?
Recovering, and he was, a lot of people who are addictive and are in recovery will pick something else to become too addicted to, like religion or running or cycling.
Yeah.
Because you can do it.
No, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah. So there were a lot of, and there were AA and NA meetings, and the tents every night of the ride. There was an AA tent where people would go, and it's a pretty clean environment. There's no alcohol and drugs allowed.
I would imagine
on the
there
ride.
wouldn't be.
But what I'm saying is, just because there isn't any allowed,
People are still.
so people just would find.
I mean, what are you doing? You're biking. You're just chugging vodka down. I can't see anybody doing that.
No, I can't either. If you're being that good to your body, it's very hard to abuse.
But a lot of them, you're right. A lot of them have replaced an addiction.
Yeah, the
with
New York Marathon has a whole segment that's all recoveries.
It's fascinating.
I know. And it's just the endorphin. The endorphin high is the same thing.
Yeah, I think you're right. Lon, we have to wrap it up.
Yeah, I'm
It's
getting an
almost,
endorphin high on gluten-free bread now.
Are you all gluten free now?
I'm largely gluten-free. No, I would say that I'm in the area of 80 to 85% because I will still live a life, and I'm not allergic to it. You know what I mean? And so it's not making me sick, but I just feel better when I don't.
Do you really? Do you feel better?
Yeah.
In what sense?
Like
what do you like? You just feel better. You wake up.
Yeah, there's less lethargy. I'm actually less. My joints are less achy because I'm sorry. I don't care how old you get. I mean, I don't care how good a shape you're in. Once you're a certain age, you just creak. You creak, and a car that's 50 or 60 years old can run perfectly, but you have to take care of it really well. And it's the same with the body. I gotta treat it well, and it's still gonna be, you gotta treat it gingerly, And
Yeah, I don't treat myself well.
Yeah,
I drink
when
too
you learn,
much and I eat too much.
and you learn that later. You learn when you've.
I'm gonna be a cranky old man. Right? We all agree on
Going
that.
to be. Interesting choice of words. You're putting that in the future tense.
Well, I'm cranky now.
Right, that's what I mean.
But when I'm an old man, I will be a cranky old man.
Yeah, I'm gonna be the delightful old man. I'm gonna be that guy. You have that old codger up the street.
Yeah.
He's a funny guy. I like him.
Yeah.
And smart. He's smart. Like even though he's old, he's
No,
smart.
but you don't go on Mr. Zarian's lawn.
Right.
He shoots you in the toe and takes your ball. Yeah.
With the rocks, shoot him with rock salt.
Yeah.
They used to do that.
What do you mean?
Oh yeah, they used to have rock salt that would shoot out of a gun and would like burn you. Like they shoot you in the ass. It was like up on farms in Massachusetts.
Oh, that's great.
Yep.
All right, I want to remind everybody, go to our website, guysfromqueens.com. I got really congested. Like, I can't breathe at this point. I have to breathe out of my mouth. Go to our website, guysfromqueens.com.
Luke, I am your webcaster.
And we'll see y'all next week. And I'm just saying good night, everybody.
Good night, Luke.